Hi, my name is Chris. I am the founder of Sendby.io, and I will show you how to connect Babbel with Easytools based on the app I created. So let's start. So here it is, Sendby.io, which will be the example I will use. The workflows in Babbel I use for this tool connected with Easytools to make it work to allow users to join, and if they don't have subscription, to pay the subscription and then get the credential to join and start generating email templates. So the first things first, the database setup in Babbel. So apart from standard fields, I have several additional ones for the sake of using Easytools. So Easytools customer ID, which will be assigned when the transaction is over. Renewal date, subscribed, subscription date, subscription one time, subscription type, trial ends at, and that will be it. Those are the additional ones. For me, the most important one is this, subscribe, because this is a subscription-based tool. So if yes, the user can generate. If no, go back to Easytools and do something. Subscription type, you can set whatever you want when it comes to the name of that. This is on you, how you will use it in the workflow afterwards. So for me, it's, for example, monthly. But this is a generic name. You can use whatever you want. Sometimes if there is a lifetime access, there's this subscription one time. Now it's no, because the user is set on monthly. All right. So this is the database, basic setup. It's a sample. Please remember that you can choose a different path, but I want to show you how it works with me. Okay, so we will be using webhooks, and there is a very well-written documentation on Easytools about using webhooks. What you have to know is that that Easytools sends two different webhooks, as mentioned on their website. So single product bot or subscription created, and also product assigned. And what is very important is the full list of events, of webhook events. So you have the main ones written, described, mentioned here at the beginning of the page. And then there are the JSONs for different actions. Yeah? So if there is a successful single product purchase, there is this one. This is the whole JSON. If there is successful product assignment, this is the one. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Why am I mentioning that? Because there is one element you need to be aware of, is that you actually have one webhook URL. And with this one URL, there's one more thing to remember. In Babbel backend workflow, you actually have one specific, webhook to set that should serve all of the actions, all of the events that were on the list I just showed you. So this one. Yeah. So all of those JSONs, all of them together, will be managed actually by just one webhook. And this is an issue, but it's easily solved. So this is also what I will try to explain as easy as possible in the next steps. So going back to those webhook URLs, in Easytools, you have this API and webhook settings. So this is the webhook URL that will be used to communicate with your Babbel app. And there are several things in it. There is the API token, and actually this is something you will generate in Babbel. And there is this easy payments fragment, and this is the name of your backend workflow, the webhook workflow that you will be using. So let's start with this part here. So the name Easy Payments comes from the name of this Easytools webhook. So this is the same name that you have to put in Easytools when it comes to which webhook endpoint, let's say on the Babbel side will be the one that will be communicating. And then there is this second part the API token. And this is something you generate inside Bubble. You go to API, public API endpoint, and you apply the label for this token, and you just generate private key, and you copy it. And this is the part you paste in here. Yeah, so the entire webhook URL should look like this. So it has two variables, the API token and the name of the webhook. And one more thing to remember, because Bubble allows you to both have let's say the developer and production versions, the, the test one and the live one. So if you go for if you are testing and still not in live, this address, the beginning here, will be different. Let's go into API token. So as you can see, I'm right now in the test version, the one I'm, the developer one, on which I'm working before I deploy to production. So this has this version test in the address, which in the live version is no longer available. It's not here. So remember that if you are testing, you need to have the URL for the test version, not for the live version, because it won't work. And this is the first step of making sure your app is safe and no one that did not pay will enter the generator, for example, if you have tool like that. So it allows you to block the visitors that did not pay for the app. And this is the first step that you can do. And from my knowledge, from people who work with Bubble and with having making tools, many people stop here. Yeah, this API token is good enough for many of them. What I will show you is adding another verification step that will make sure that it's even safer. So we'll be using this webhook signing key. So another solution, apart from that, apart from the API token, this will be used as well. I already have it generated, and I won't be changing that. But if I click this, I get the new webhook signing key. I have to copy that and use it in the backend workflow. So going back to here, there is this webhook called the API event, the Easy Payments, and what has to happen is we need to verify if the user is the right one before we go into processing the payment and adding access and so on. So let's see how it's done. So in my case, I use server script and I take it from a plugin, a very popular one in Bubble. It's called Toolbox. You probably already have it. If you don't, you should. It's very useful. And it has, for example, let's say a block called server script. And in this case, for me, I use a script that will make sure that the JSON I receive is the proper one, and then I can proceed. So how it's done? I have this variable signing key, and there is this long code, and I took it from Easytools. It's the webhook signing key I generated, and I copied it. Please remember that you should save it somewhere, because if you will, when you see it, then it's gone. It is in the system, but you will not be able to see it again. You will have to regenerate. So going back to the workflow, this is the code, the webhook signing key from Easytools. I paste it here. And also there is one extra variable, properties thing one is actually the way to handle those variables in the server script with Toolbox. So you define it here as thing one, and this is the raw JSON that is sent from the webhook. So the whole JSON from beginning to the end, because it has to be calculated and then compared. So your the result of this server script has to be exactly the same as X webhook signature. That is part of the JSON you receive. They have to be exactly the same. If they are, the workflow can continue. If they are not, it means that something's wrong and it will not take any more steps. It will be terminated, at least in my case. So this is the setup. Just for your information, I'm pretty sure that guys from Easytools will have the JSON, the script, and everything all available in the documentation. So no worries here. Of course, you can copy it by looking, but it will be probably made uh, easily available and ready to copy on this documentation page. So what I do also as step 3, I send to myself an email just to do a double check. It's very useful at the beginning when you are testing the workflow, if all is working fine and if the calculation are actually, the way they should be. When you know exactly that you are the user, the JSON should be proper one. So you get this result of step 2, so the calculation, and then there is this raw body data, and then there is X webhook signature, and again this result of server script 2. It doesn't have to be like this. This is just an example. And by comparing those things, the X webhook signature and calculated, they should be exactly the same number, let's say, and the same value. If they are, all is fine. And what happens next is actually, in my case, and I really strongly recommend going this way, is this first webhook serves as a hub, so redistributes the flow to various steps depending on the event. So the process product assigned has a separate workflow. Process subscription expired has a different one, and it's done in a way like this. So you have there is a new workflow. Very important thing. Let's go back one step. Sorry for a bit of chaos here. The main webhook has to be visible on the internet. So the Easytool has to be able to connect with it and communicate. So it has to be a public one. But then the rest of them, absolutely not. This happens on the server side. It doesn't have to be public. So please remember not to make them like this. But how are they done? Yeah, let's have a look at this right now. So when you are setting those workflows, you start with this one. And then if you want to make this, passing the data to various ones, you actually need to set them first. So let's start with this process product assigned. This is the way I called it. Absolutely can be different if you want. So you do the ignore privacy rules when running the workflow. You check this and you manually define the parameters. So for example, use it to modify webhook subscription one time, webhook is subscription, webhook price, custom ID. Actually, those are the names taken from Easytools to make it easier. And you set those different values here. Then again, what I did, I added this send email to know that the product assigned workflow was initiated. Yeah. Something happened. I want you to know because you're the admin. And then you do make changes to user. So thing to change is the user to modify. Then you have subscription one time. This will be, subscription one time from webhook. So the value that was taken from Easytools. Subscribe date, subscription type, renewal date, trial ends at, and Easytools customer ID. Yeah, you take all those data and you put them in the database of this user you are modifying. Yeah? So you have, as we were here, yeah, so those are exactly the names that are in the database I set. Yeah? So Easytools customer ID, renewal date, subscription type, and so on and so forth. Because you set them, you can change another field. Yeah? So I select the available ones within the user in the database. Yeah? I don't know, language, for example, but there is nothing in the webhook for the language, so it's not here. But this is modifying the database with this, and you make changes to user. Subscribed is yes, only when webhook subscription one time is yes. Subscribed is yes also when the webhook subscription one time is no, but webhook subscription is yes. And Yes when webhook is subscription is yes, just to make sure that if the user paid for the subscription, it will be changed to yes. And when it's subscription one time is no, and is subscription is no, then set to no. And this is only the part of the workflow that takes care of one event, so process product assigned. In case of expired, it's much shorter. So you only modify user and webhook expiration date, send email just so I know that subscription expired workflow it was initiated. And then I only make changes to user when it comes to subscribed field. So it's set to no. And access expired. So I want to have the expiration date. And renewal date, subscription type are left like this because if you do it, when this webhook is received, it will be cleaned in the database for this user. So you want to do it basically, just to keep everything clean and properly managed. So as you can see, of course, you can add variable other events here. For me, for now, this is enough. So you have the main webhook, and then you have the sub webhooks that only serve and manage those specific events. Okay. We need to go to one more thing that was discussed earlier, and this is the moment when we have to recall it. So you probably already remember, still remember, this case of various JSONs, and still one webhook that serves all them all. So you have to have one specific JSON to manage. So what you have to do is when you look into this webhook documentation, as you remember, there is one kind of JSON, second type of JSON, and many, many more. But you need to have one because this is the way the Babel workflow works. Babel will work, and so on. So what you have to do is take what I did. I took all of those JSONs. I took the whole page. I saved it in PDF format. I went to Claude, one of the AI tools, and I asked it, there are separate various JSONs. I want you to create one giga JSON that will manage all of them if necessary. So what happened is you can find it on actually sendby.io / Easytools. This is the final JSON that has all the keys available. So if all of those JSONs were combined into one, this is how it would look like. And this is the result that was given to me by AI. So I copy it, the entire one, and I need to do something with it. So what's the next step here? Let's go back to workflow. And what you have to do to make sure that your Easytools webhook workflow, the backend workflow, is properly managed and will manage every kind of event that is sent to it, you need to do detect data. And this is where you get the link to check the JSON, if I can call it like that. So what happens now? You have this address that is waiting for your JSON to be delivered. Right? So you need to mimic the action. And I used Postman for that because it's very easy to work with. It's free, and I will show you now how to do it basically. So you copy it, just click. You need to copy this entire link, and you go to Postman, postman.co, and you do send API request. Okay, and now this has to be changed to post. You put this link, you just got from Babel. You go into body and raw, and then you take this entire JSON that was given to you by the AI or done by yourself, and then you paste it here, and you send. And you will see status, hopefully you will see status success. The endpoint easy payments was successfully initialized. And when you go back to Babel, you will see that something changed. There is this whole window showing you all the elements of the JSON that were recognized. And what you have to do right now is double check if all of them, all of the values are actually correct. So if the date is the format of a date, if the thing that has only numbers is number, and so on and so forth, because there may be issues. Bubble does not always perfectly decide and define the kind of if it's a text or if it's a number or date and so on and so forth. So this is something you have to do. Yeah? Go through all of those elements through the list and double check if all is correct. If it's done, you just save, and that's it. So what's next? Well, what you can do next is also make sure that the email that the user is using in your in the app and is exactly the same as it's provided in the Easytools when doing the payment, because um, there is there has to be some way in which you properly define that this user that is making the payment is the user that you have in a database. How I've done it in a way that first the user creates an account in my app, so I have his email and so on, and then based on this data, I compare the email I have in the database in Bubble with what was provided in the webhook. So uh, it may happen that the users, I don't know, subscribed to your app, created an account with email abc@gmail.com, but then in the Easy Tools provided a different email. And there is an issue because there is no other thing to compare. And in this case, there will be a problem, and the user will have to probably contact you with some kind of a question. Why is it not working? So to make sure that the user is using Easytools with the same email that is in Bubble, so there is this element to be able to be easy to compare that this is the same user. What I did is I followed the suggestion in the documentation of Easytools. So when the user goes to Easytools, the Easy card, to check out, I force that the email is already provided. So when he or she goes to the payment, the current user's email will be set in the email field. Yeah, so it will somehow show the user that this is the email you should use, yeah, to make the payment. And then the flow can go without problems. So it's, for example, it's done here, yeah, because user to modify, yeah, in this first webhook, you search for users, first item, yeah. So the email of the user has to be request data's body customer email. So this is something you receive from Easytools, and really there has to be some way to compare those, some value, at least one, to make sure that the user A is the user A, and otherwise you won't be able to assign transaction to a user. So I recommend to use this approach of using the same email. It's the easiest one probably. Okay, so we have this, all things set. So we have the API key, we have additional key from Easytools, we have all the workflows in the backend. Please remember that in Bubble, if you want to manage this Easytools payments, use the webhooks, it can only be done in the paid version. So the backend workflows are available only if you are a paying customer. So sorry, nothing can be done about that. So let's test it out, because there's one more thing I want you to know. So let's go to send by IO and see the entire process of what's going on, because there's this thing I mentioned. So send by IO. I'm already logged, but I'm set in the database. Subscribed is set to no. So the workflow shouldn't allow me to start generating. Instead, I should be redirected to Easytools to make the payment. So let's see. Yep, and there you go. Because the user I'm using right now is not a subscribed user. So I created this special, especially for this test here, a product for €1. And let's make the purchase. And what happens now? I will see this page, and there's one very important thing to remember. As you can see, there is still processing happening right now, because what I've learned is that it takes some time for the webhook to be delivered, to be processed by Bubble, and to finally set the user as subscribed if everything was done correctly. And you need to give the app some time, so you can either set more time in the Easytools redirection, let's say 20 seconds. I've learned it's about 8 to 10 seconds to take the whole thing in the background. Or what I did, I set this page what you are looking at right now. So the user is already on send by IO, but there is still this processing happening. Basically, the page is waiting for the data in the subscribed field for the user changing from no to yes. And when it's set yes, when it goes to yes, this is what we see. Yeah, the button is available, and you can go to generator. Voila, and it starts working because all the flow, all the processes went well. So okay, that's it from my side. I hope this tutorial is useful for you. In case you still want to catch up and need some support, you can find me on LinkedIn as Chris Rapach. And that's it. Have fun setting up Easytools in your Babbel app, and have a great day. See you. Bye bye.